You're listening to the Prepper Recon podcast. For questions, comments, and podcast archives, go to prepperrecon.com. Ready Made Resources is a trusted name in the prepper community because they've been around for 18 years. They offer great prices on night vision, water filtration, long-term storage food, solar energy components, and provide free technical service. Get ready for an uncertain future at ReadyMadeResources.com. Trading Post in the Woods is ran by veteran crisis responders who know how important it is to be prepared. They specialize in comprehensive natural survival remedy kits, preparedness and homesteading supplies, as well as skills training. Visit them online today at tradingpostinthewoods.com. Hey, Preppers and Patriots. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you still got plenty of turkey left and plenty of stuffing. And I love the leftovers, maybe a little too much. maybe I need to plan to have a little less leftovers next year. But anyway, it's once a year, so enjoy. For Thanksgiving week, we're only going to have one show. This is due to low downloads around the holidays. So we'll be doing the same thing for Christmas and New Year's, where we only have one show those weeks. It's just folks are with their families, and every year we get really, really low downloads around the holidays, which is good. And that's good for you guys to be with your families and have time to focus on them. And it's good for me to take a little break and have a little bit lighter week right around the holidays as well. So I really appreciate you guys understanding that. For today's show, it looks like it's safe to say that a complete government takeover is pretty much off the table, having Trump in, at least for the next 4 years. But all the other threats are still very active. Perhaps the biggest threat right now is the risk of civil unrest. Our tax dollars have done a brilliant job of churning out children that are complete communists and zombies, and that's all been done through the public school system, which we funded, and of course the liberal colleges as well, which a lot of that's funded by government subsidies as well. And so there's really a limit to what can be done to keep a lid on that situation. Also, we're going to have to be rational about our expectations for Trump. The reality is the amount of energy that's been built up in the financial markets right now, it would be nearly impossible for anyone to diffuse it. And if it were something that could be done, it would take an amount of sacrifice that there's just not any political will on by the people or anybody that's in politics to do what has to be done in order to avoid such a catastrophe. So that's not off the table, and we're going to have to go through that. So the wheels are still coming off the economy, and they're probably coming off on Trump's watch. And that means he'll be blamed for it, just like Bush was. And it's going to open the door for socialism to expand during the next election. So that's something that you've got 4 years, so use it wisely. So for today's show, we'll be talking about what you can start doing now to brace for the imminent financial reset, as well as the civil unrest and the other reactionary political fallout due to the election. But first, I've got a big announcement to make. I just released a new book. It's called A Haunt for Jackals, and it's the third book in my EMP survival series, 7 Cows, Ugly and Gaunt. In this book, Danny Walker, his survival retreat has been devastated by violence since the detonation of the EMP. A megalomaniacal warlord has stepped in to fill the vacuum of authority left by the utter collapse of society. Regent Schlisser's designs on absolute power have already brought him to Danny's doorstep once, and that left a trail of blood and heartbreak in his wake. Another conflict with the malicious dictator will spell certain death for the remaining members of the compound. Danny's only hope is to infiltrate Schlisser's camp and bring him down from the inside. It's a risky proposition. If he's caught, he'll be executed as a spy, but there is no other alternative. In this epic struggle between good and evil, Danny's mettle will be tested, his faith will be tried, and he'll have to dig deep for the courage to continue. The book's available in paperback and Kindle edition right now, and Kevin Pierce has already finished the audiobook production, and we're just waiting for Audible to approve the files, so that should be available within the next week, maybe 2 weeks at the most. As usual, I'll be having a big giveaway, and we'll be giving away some big prizes, survival gear to celebrate the release of A Haunt for Jackals. One first prize winner will win a custom Prepper Recon individual first aid kit. Those kits contain everything you need to treat a traumatic injury, including an Israeli battle dressing, a tourniquet, quick clot, EMT shears, bandages, gauze, antibiotic gel, burn gel, lots of good stuff in there. One second prize winner is going to win a first aid essentials kit, which has the Israeli battle dressing, the tourniquet, the quick clot, and the EMT shears, and then all of the other stuff, the Band-Aids, the gauze, all of that stuff. You get that stuff yourself because you can get all of that stuff from a drugstore, Walmart, or Target, or wherever you shop, and then we'll give you the essentials to get you started, all the big stuff. And then the second prize winner is also going to get a copy of Cal Wilson's new prepper fiction book, EMP, The End of the Grid as We Know It. You're also going to get a copy of his Dirt Cheap Valuable Prepping, which gives you some great money-saving ideas on how to get the essentials you need to be prepared on a budget. And here's how you win. Leave a review for A Haunt for Jackals on Amazon.com and send me an email including your Amazon screen name that you used for the review, and you send that to prepperrecon@gmail.com. And in the subject line, just put Jackals giveaway, and then I'll know exactly what the email's about, because sometimes we get a lot of emails, and it's good to be able to just look at the subject line and know exactly what it's about. So the drawing for the winners is going to be held on Friday, December 16th, and the winner's Amazon screen name will be posted on prepperrecon.com. We'll announce that you've won there, and then the winner will also be notified via email. So Godspeed in the drawing. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. The dollar's lost over 90% of its purchasing power since 1971. Silver, on the other hand, has proven to be a very stable form of wealth preservation over the years. And where do you buy silver? Silver.com, of course. Silver.com offers fantastic prices on gold and silver. Check out Silver.com today. Whether your plan is to bug out or bug in, CampingSurvival.com has all of your preparedness needs, including fish antibiotics, long-term storage food, and water filters. Use coupon code PREPPERRECON for 5% off your order at CampingSurvival.com. Now let's get into today's show. So financial markets have really surged since Trump was elected. They're getting close to 19,000 on the Dow, and it's just keeps getting higher and higher. And this continues to create more volatility in the equities, which really haven't had a major pullback since 2008. We've had a couple of real anomaly type days. That the night of the election, we saw the Dow down, the futures down 800 points. So it was looking really, really bad the night before. It's hard to say exactly what happened there, but the clock is ticking on a major financial reset. And this time, there's no tools left to address the situation. Interest rates are still near zero. We've doubled the money supply. So you could have the world's greatest financial minds in the Oval Office, the Treasury, and the Fed, and there's still no stopping what's coming. The only tool Trump's administration is going to have on the next crisis is monetary creation. And during Obama's reign, Yellen and Bernanke have taken the M2 money supply from $7 trillion to $13 trillion. Now, some of you may be familiar with M2 and what that means. For those that aren't, it's what financial analysts and economists use to track how much cash is actually in the system. And so M1 is like just printed paper. And then M2 includes M1, which is the cash that's in circulation, and then it adds in checking accounts, saving accounts, and money market accounts. So that's what M2 is. It's basically the available liquid cash in the system right now. So now that we have $13 trillion chasing the same amount of goods and services that were available when we only had $7 trillion, the money is worth just over half what it was 8 years ago, if you look at it from that perspective. So that's inflation. And inflation is technically, it's the inflation of the money supply, which you typically hear the talking heads on television talking about when they say inflation. They're talking about price inflation. And the fact that they don't see the corresponding price inflation that's coming along being evenly distributed with the inflation of the money supply, that's a big problem, and it's a major reason that we want to be concerned and keep our eye on this thing. Because all that energy, just because you don't see it, you don't see it being manifested in the system, doesn't mean it's not there. It's kind of like a rubber band. You know, if you stretch a rubber band and you keep stretching it and keep stretching it and keep stretching it, and there's energy there that's pulling on both ends of the rubber band to pull it back to center. And the fact that you don't see it being pulled back to center means that you're stressing it and stressing it further. And sooner or later, it's going to snap and go back to its original size. And that's going to be a very violent, chaotic event when the rubber band snaps, as opposed to having it letting go and letting it contract back slowly. So all of this energy that's in the markets right now, it should be showing up being evenly distributed among commodity prices, housing costs, and energy. And all of that energy is still sitting on the sidelines, and it's all going to be released at once. And so this is likely what's going to happen when we see the next crisis, and whoever Trump places at Treasury and at the Fed, they're going to have no available options except to print more money or let the system implode. And I'm sure you can guess which one of those options is the more politically expedient. So if they have to do what Obama's done and double the M2 money supply, we'd go from 13 trillion to 26 trillion. And that's huge of a jump, which is what they'd pretty much have to do to keep the wheels on the thing, is going to completely erode confidence in the dollar. And people are just going to rush out of the dollar, and they're going to run into physical assets. And then that's going to be the rubber band snapping right there. And once the rush starts, we'll see hyperinflation, just like we've seen it in Argentina in 2001, Russia in the 90s, and Germany in the 30s. Price inflation is the natural reaction to monetary creation. And it can be delayed, but it cannot be avoided. So how do you hedge against hyperinflation? In all the other instances I mentioned, Argentina, Russia, and Germany, silver and gold preserve the wealth of their holders through the collapse. Productive farmland, that's also a means of wealth preservation. And that's also something that will provide you with a way to feed your family through the crisis. You know, gold and silver, they're not going to, you can't eat them, you can't defend yourself with them. Yes, they'll preserve your wealth, but during that period of chaos, while you're waiting for markets to settle down and price discovery and all of that kind of thing, so you could actually buy something with that gold and silver, they won't be doing anything during that period. Farmland, of course, you know, you can feed yourself. You can have animals there. You can have vegetables. You know, it probably means you're at a more rural location, so you're separated away from the chaos that's going on in the cities. You know, just being in the suburbs puts you away from what's going on in the Trump riots right now. So that separates you from, you know, the Black Lives Matter riots. So all of that stuff happens in the central, in the cities, in the heavily populated areas. So if you're outside of that, you're just so much better off. But if you're not in the position to get farmland, or you've already got your farmland and you're looking to find out what else you can do with the rest of your money, I think gold and silver are a great way to hedge against inflation. And gold and silver, they're both way below their highs from 2011. And if you're thinking about silver, I recommend 1 ounce bars and rounds. And if you get larger denominations than that, you lose your divisibility, which is one of the great things about silver, is that it's a much lower cost for an ounce is right around $18-19 right now. So an ounce of gold was right around $1,300 right after the election, and it's dropped quite a bit, but still between $1,300 and $1,200. So much more divisible to have silver, and it's probably got a larger upside as well. It's at its high was around $50 back in 2011, and gold was just under 2,000. So gold is less than half has gone down less than half from its highs, and silver is down more like 60% from its highs. So if they both return to their high, you would have a lot larger upside for the silver than you would have for the gold. So if that's something you're thinking to do, shop around, but I think that you're going to have a hard time finding better prices than Silver.com and JM Bullion if you're looking to getting some silver bullion. And for gold, stay with recognizable coins and bars. You can get smaller denominations than 1 ounce, but you're going to typically pay more for the half ounce, quarter ounce, and 10th ounce bullion coins. On occasion, APMEX is going to have sales for their European coins that were minted in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And if you familiarize yourself with those coins and the market, and you really watch the prices and you watch the sales, then you can buy these coins. They're typically about a 5th ounce denomination if you get the 20 franc coins, and you can get them cheaper than at a cheaper rate than what you'd pay for modern 1 ounce coins, gold bullion. So you'll get the divisibility of having the smaller denomination, and they're very nice to look at, and obviously minted in the late 1800s, early 1900s. They have some minimal collectible value to them as well. And I cover all the basics of gold and silver buying in my 7-step survival plan. And if you still don't have that, you can get that free. You go to prepperrecon.com, you click the free PDF banner. It's near the top of the page, and it's just below the menu bar where you see Prepper Recon and the big black and red banner there. And then below that is the menu bar, and then right in the middle below that is the banner that you click for the free PDF. And click that, fill out the form, and it'll just be delivered straight into your email. And that's the end of the show today. And then next week, I'm going to finish up on this thought, and I'm going to talk about the civil unrest side of it. We talked about the finance side of it today, and then next week, we're going to talk about the civil unrest side of it. And I'm also going to do a little gear review. I did a short trip in the Appalachian Trail and got to check out some of the gear that I keep in my bug out bag, and some of it I loved, and some of it I'm thinking about replacing, and I'm going to talk about some of that stuff as well. But just keep in mind that yes, we got Trump. We avoided a major constitutional crisis, I guess we'd have to call it, had Clinton got in, but we are not out of the woods, and you have to know that the globalists are gunning for Trump. They don't like him. The media has been against him all the way through the campaign, and know that they're not going to let up on him, and they're going to do everything they can to make him look bad and to make sure that he doesn't get a second term. So we're in for some chaos in the next 4 years, and I think that we would have been anyway. I think that the financial markets are just there's no way we make it another 4 years without a major financial crisis, and he's going to get blamed for it. And you just need to be ready for it. So, we'll talk about the civil unrest side of it next week. For now, God bless and happy prepping.
In A Haunt for Jackals by best-selling author Mark Goodwin, Danny Walker's survival retreat has been devastated by violence since the detonation of the EMP. Regent Slusher's designs on absolute power have already brought him to Danny's doorstep once, leaving a trail of blood and heartbreak in his wake. Another conflict with the malicious dictator will spell certain death for the remaining members of the compound. Danny's only hope is to infiltrate Slusher's camp and bring him down from the inside. It's a risky proposition. If he is caught, he'll be executed as a spy, but there is no other alternative. In this epic struggle between good and evil, Danny's mettle will be tested, his faith will be tried, and he'll have to dig deep for the courage to continue. Buy your copy of A Haunt for Jackals, Book 3 of 7 Cows, Ugly and Gaunt, in paperback, Kindle, or audio edition from Amazon.com today.